Okay, we're going to start this quiz. This is a randomly generated test, so you might not have the exact same ones, but you should be able to get the answers from this. Okay, we are looking in this case for two numbers that multiply together to give us negative 35, but at the same time they add up to give us positive 2. So positive 7 and negative 5 should do it. 7 times negative 5 is negative 35, and 7 plus negative 5 is positive 2. So I have found the two numbers that work, and so I'm going to have that. And you can FOIL that to check. X squared minus 5x plus 7x minus 35. Okay, and that works. So it says to type your answer without any extra spaces. Canvas will interpret a space as a character, and it won't match. Okay. All right, let me go on to the next. All right, this time we want to find two numbers whose product is 18, but at the same time, the sum is negative 11. So negative 9 and negative 2 should do it. Negative 9 times negative 2 is positive 18, and negative 9 plus negative 2 is negative 11. So I found the two numbers that work. So I'm going to have x minus 9 times x minus 2. No spaces. Okay. Let's go on to the next. All right, now we have a trinomial, but the first coefficient here is not 1, so we can't use the same test that we did. So what we try and do is we want to find two numbers whose product is 6 times negative 5. So that's negative 30. So whose product is negative 30. But at the same time, you want their sum to be this number here. Now, two numbers that multiply together to give you negative 30. Well, negative 10 times 3 is negative 30. But when you add negative 10 and 3, you get negative 7. And so the second part is not satisfied. So you might have to search around for a while. What about negative 15 and positive 2? Well, negative 15 times positive 2 is negative 30, and negative 15 plus 2 is negative 13, so that will work. That will work. And now what do I do with the two numbers in this situation that will work? I'm going to rewrite. So I'm going to replace that, and I'm going to replace it. Negative 13x, I'm going to replace it with minus 15x plus 2x, because minus 15x plus 2x is negative 13x. And then I'm going to look at these. So with the first pairing here, they have in common a 3x. And if I factor out the 3x, I'm going to have 2x minus 5. And then 2x minus 5 has no common factor. So I'm actually going to put a 1 there because this will equal 2x minus 5. And then what's going to go in here? 3x plus 1. So this is my answer. And you can FOIL that and check that it gives you your original 1 there. So I'm going to do 3x plus 1 times 2x minus 5. All right. Okay, you want to express this in lowest terms. Okay, so I want to see if I can factor these. So in the numerator, I need to factor that. So two numbers that multiply together. So I want two numbers whose product is 6 times negative 5. And at the same time, their sum is negative 7. So the two numbers I'll need will be negative 10 and positive 3. Negative 10 times 3 is negative 30, and negative 10 plus 3 is negative 7. So then I can rewrite this as negative 10a plus 3a minus 5. Okay, so I'm replacing the negative 7a with that. And just make sure that that's going to be in the right order. Let's see. If I factor out, what do these two have in common? The numbers have a 2 in common, and the letters have an a in common. So if I factor out a 2a from each term, I'm going to be left with that. These have nothing in common, so nothing to factor out there. So a 1 goes there. And so I'm going to have a 3a minus 5, and then what's going to go in here? A 2a and plus 1. Okay. So up here, the numerator, make some room. The numerator has been factored into that. And now what about the denominator? They have a 2 in common. So if I factor out a 2 from each term, I get that. So I do have cancellation because we have a product in the numerator, a product in the denominator. And after cancellation, I am left with 2a plus 1 all over 2. Now, do not ruin it by saying you can cancel the 2's. You cannot. You can only do cancellation if you have products. And see where I made the red cancellation, I had 2a plus 1 times all of 3a minus 5, and in the bottom I had 2 times all of 3a minus 5. You cannot cancel these 2's because in the top you have 2a plus 1. If you just had 2a by itself in the top, you could have canceled 2's, but here you can't. And so our answer is going to be D. All right, now we have, I might make this a little bit bigger. We have a division sign there. So if you have a division sign, then you're going to have the first part as it is. These are these. Then this will become times, and then you will flip that. Okay, now I'll get one big fraction. Let's look at factoring. Two numbers that multiply together to give you 27, but then add up to give you 12. Well, positive 9 and 3. Then here, two numbers that multiply together to give you 8, but add up together to give you 6. Well, positive 4 and positive 2. Now here, two numbers that multiply together to give you 36, but add up together to give you 13, 9, and 4. And what can you factor out of that? What do they have in common? They have a z in common. Okay, now I have a product in the numerator, a product in the denominator, so I can start canceling. The z plus 9's cancel. I have a z plus 3 here and a z plus 3 there. They cancel. I have a z plus 4 here and a z plus 4 there. They cancel. So after all of my cancellation, I'm left with just z plus 2 in the numerator and z in the denominator. The z's do not cancel here because we no longer have a product in the numerator. Cannot cancel the z's. So I'm going to have the z plus 2 and a z. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. Let's add these two. If you're going to add or subtract fractions, they have to have the same denominator. So let's see what we can factor. You can factor a 2 out of that first denominator. And then the second denominator factors as x minus 4 times x plus 4. Now I want these to have the same denominator. So what I'm going to need to do, I'm going to need a 2 in the denominator. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom of this one by 2. And now this one is 2 times x minus 4 times x plus 4. So here I'm going to need to multiply top and bottom by x plus 4. Okay. Now, since they have exactly the same denominators, I can put them together into one fraction. And so I'm going to have 5x plus 4 plus 2 times 3 times x. And now I'm going to expand this in the numerator. I'm going to have 5 times x, and then you're going to have 5 times 4. You have to distribute the 5 through. It has to be multiplied by everything inside the parentheses. Okay, 5x plus 6x is 11x, and then plus 20. And then in the denominator, I'm going to have that. Okay, so I say that's going to be my answer. And that's matching up with that one, it looks like. So I'm going to say that it's C. Okay. All right, let's continue.